Okay. I hope the screen is visible. The paper is visible. The screen is visible to everyone. Please write yes or no. Okay, fine. So let us begin. Okay. So today we'll start with, I think in the last lecture we have already done the theory part. Okay. So just tell me whether whatever I'm writing is properly visible or not. So we'll start with working stress method. Is it clearly visible, all of you? Please write in the chat box. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, so as we have seen in the last lecture, we have discussed about the assumptions, right? So on the basis of assumptions, what we are going to do of a rectangular concrete section. So we are going to draw the stress strain diagram for the section based on the assumptions. So first tell me, everybody remembers the assumptions which we have done? So what was the first assumption? The first assumption was so what we will do first, we will derive the stress strain relationship and then we will start with the problem. So for that, first we should know what we have discussed. So the first assumption was sections that are plane before bending remain plane even after bending at any cross section. So what does this mean? Okay, so first we'll try to understand the assumptions. So the last time also I had asked you this question. So if anyone remembered the answer, they can write in the chat box. The strain profile is linear, exactly. Correct. So what do you understand by this? That the strain profile is linear. So that means suppose this is your beam. Okay, I hope this is visible to everyone. And suppose if this is bending like this, okay, and after bending, okay, so suppose this is the neutral axis. So in this case, this is the neutral axis. So what does this first assumption says? It says that the angle between the neutral axis and this extreme fiber, it should remain 90 degree. Is this visible? This is the meaning of the first assumption, that even after bending, it should not bend so much that this angle will not be 90 degree. Are you getting? So we are considering such a slight bending that this angle should not be altered. So this means that suppose this is your strain profile. So this profile, it implies that this profile is linear. Okay, I'll just draw again if you are not able to see. If this is the strain, okay, so this profile, you can see now, this is the linear profile. This is called, this is strain due to compression and this is strain due to tension. So this is called is your linear profile. So this is the meaning of the first assumption. Is it clear, everyone? You can just write in the chat box. I hope the video is clear. Whatever I'm writing is clear. Okay, so did you understand whatever I just explained? The strain profile is linear. Okay, fine. Thank you. So now let us move on. One more assumption we had that. What was the next assumption? That the stress strain relationship is linear. So it simply means that suppose this is your strain and this is your stress. So this we are considering it as linear. As simple as that. So this assumption is very simple, that we are considering the stress strain relationship as linear. Now next. So we also had one assumption that, what was the next assumption? So we had the assumption that there's a perfect adhesion between steel and concrete and no slip takes place between steel and concrete. So what is the meaning of that? It ensures that assumption, it ensures strain compatibility. So this is important. It ensures strain compatibility. Okay, suppose if you have been asked in a competitive exams, what is the meaning of the assumption there's a perfect adhesion between steel and concrete? So it simply means that it ensures strain compatibility. So now what do you mean by strain compatibility? So it means that the strain in steel is equal to the strain in concrete. So remember this. And this sentence is very important, at the level of steel. Okay, at the level of steel. So this is very important. I hope you understood this. I hope it is visible to everyone. So your assumption means that, it means that there is no slip between steel and concrete. It ensures strain compatibility. So this, it might be asked in competitive exams, so you can easily answer, and which implies that your stress in steel is equal to stress in concrete at the level of steel. This is important. Huh? At the level of steel we are talking about. Okay, I hope this is visible. Fine. So now coming to the last assumption. What is the last assumption, anyone? It is the modular ratio. Okay, so the IS says that the modular ratio is given by M is equal to 280 upon 3 into sigma CBC. So this is what the IS code says. Now anyone can tell me what is the classical definition of modular ratio M? Anyone can write, just write in the chat box the the normal definition of modular ratio apart from the IS code. It's a ratio of what to what? Anyone can just write in the chat box. Okay, no one? Okay, so let us continue. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Am I audible? And the screen is properly visible? Or is there some network issue? Okay, fine. Fine, thank you. So now let me tell you, normally the definition of modular ratio is exactly. So we just got the answer. It is the ratio of elasticity of steel to elasticity of concrete. Okay. So modular ratio is given by modulus of elasticity of steel to modulus of elasticity of concrete. Correct, Abrar? So we know that this is the normal definition. We also know that what is Young's modulus? Young's modulus is given by E. It is nothing but stress upon strain. right? It is stress upon strain, right? So now from the previous assumption, what we have seen from the previous assumption, we know that stress in steel is equal to stress in concrete. Am I right? Okay. So now can we say that this is stress in steel, stress upon this, and stress in concrete upon modulus of elasticity of concrete. Okay, from here I have taken this. So now if I take stress in steel and if I take ES this side, so it becomes ES upon EC into FC. Is that fine? So now what is ES upon EC? ES upon EC is nothing but M into FC. So stress in steel, let me denote this as sigma ST because that is what we are going to use. So stress in steel is equal to M times the stress in concrete. So this is the relation which we got from the last assumption, which is a very important relation. This we are going to use to find out the stress strain diagram. And not to forget to write this at the level of steel. At the level of steel we are talking about. Is that clear, everyone? So this is the relation which we will use in the stress strain diagram. I hope this is clear to everyone. We have discussed in detail the various assumptions which we have considered. So now based on these assumptions, let us draw the stress strain diagram. Okay, so please make a note of this, whatever I'm writing. Okay, so that it will be easy for you to understand later on. So please make notes whatever we are doing, solving the numericals. Okay, so first we'll start with the permissible stresses. Okay, so shall I turn the page or someone is writing? Please write in the chat box. Done. Okay, fine. I hope this is clear to everyone. So we'll move on. So now, first the most important thing is we will understand the permissible stresses. So permissible, so based on this only we are going to solve the numericals. So you should know the permissible stresses in concrete also, as well as in steel also. So this will, if you have the ready reference of this, we can solve the problem easily. So permissible stress in concrete. So make a table like this. First, grade of concrete. Second, permissible stresses in compression. Okay, so again this is divided into, first is bending and direct. So this means bending compression and this is direct compression. So this, the notation of this is sigma CBC. Okay, and the notation for this is sigma CC. So that means this is permissible stress in concrete due to bending compression, CBC, and this is in concrete in direct compression. Okay, I hope this is clear. So now let us start with the grade M15 grade of concrete, then M20, M20. So for M15 grade of concrete, what will be the value of sigma CBC? Anyone? We have done this in the first lecture. If anyone remembers, just write in the chat box. what will be the value of sigma CBC for M15 grade of concrete? 5. Okay, anyone else? Is that correct answer? Yes. So that is 5. How it came 5? I have already told you the factor of safety for concrete is 3. So 15 divided by 3 will give you 5. Okay. So now similarly for M20, what will be the value? 7. Correct. So what is the exact value? It comes out to be 6.67, I think. So we will take 7. Now what about M25? Okay, so we will take it as 8.5. Correct. So similarly, can anyone tell me what is the value of sigma CC? Exactly M30, 10, no problem, and so on. So there is no need to remember all these values. If you just remember the factor of safety, you can definitely get this value. Okay, so don't worry about these values, whether you'll forget or not. If you remember the factor of safety, definitely it will be easy for you. So now sigma CC is given by, for M15 it is given as 4, and for M20 it is 5, and M25 it is 6, and M30 it is 8. Okay, so these values you have to remember. Again, if you see this carefully, you will find out the relation between the grade and the stress. So for column, make a note of it. The factor of safety is taken as 4. Okay, so for column, the factor of safety is 4. So now if you divide this 20 by 4, you will get the value as 5. Understood now? So again, for column also, you don't need to remember. You just remember the factor of safety for column is 4. So therefore, we are getting these values. Okay, so make a note of this, because whenever we solve the problems, we will require these values. The next thing which I would like to explain is permissible. Yes, what do you want me to repeat, Saurabh? See, the factor of safety for column is taken as 4. Okay, so sigma CC, the value of it will be 15 divided by 4. Okay, so you will get the value as 3 point something. So that we have taken as 4. So now this M20 is the FCK. So that 20 divided by 4, you will get the value as 5. Now is it clear? Okay, fine. So next we'll move on to the permissible stresses in steel. Permissible stresses in steel. Okay, similarly, we should know the permissible stresses in steel also. Then only we can design and check. So now in this, you can make a table like this. First, type of steel. Second, tension. Third, compression, and then shear. Okay, so tension we will denote it as sigma st. So basically we will be dealing with, as far as beams are concerned, we will be dealing with sigma CBC and sigma st. Okay, and this for compression you can use sigma SC, and for shear it is, the notation is sigma SV. Okay, so now first we will take the grade of steel as Fe250 or mild steel. So for Fe250, again we have two types. First, up to 20 mm diameter. The second is over 20 mm diameter. Okay, so you have to check whatever diameter you're using, accordingly the value of stress you will take. So for 20, the value is 140, and if it is above 20, the value is 130. Okay, so now similarly for sigma SC for column it is given as 130 and 130. For shear it is 140 and 130. So basically we have to remember only this value whenever we are dealing with beams, that is sigma ST. Okay, when we are dealing with column, then you will consider these values. So next we will take the second grade of concrete as Fe415. So for Fe415, sigma ST we don't have to separate for diameter criteria is not there. So directly we can write for Fe415 sigma ST is 230 and sigma SC is 190 and sigma SV is again 230. Okay. So third, the next is Fe500. So for Fe500, the code says that this value should be 0.55 times the Fy, where Fy is 500. So that will be 275. And this is 190 and this remains the same. Okay. So please make a note of this. So we got the values of permissible stresses in steel also. Okay, so next we will see what is modular ratio. So modular ratio, it is denoted by small m, and we know the formula that we have just discussed, 280 upon 3 into sigma CBC. Okay, so for Fe500, this it is 275, sigma ST is 275. Okay, so this is actually given in the IS code 0.55 into Fy, where Fy is 500. So if you multiply 0.55 into 500, so you will get 275. Is that clear, Bhavik? Okay, so we only have 10 minutes left now, so we'll just cover these derivations or the stress strain diagram. So a modular ratio, I think you can easily find out this, so I'll just explain in brief. Okay, so for suppose M20 I'm considering grade, so what will be the modular ratio? Anyone can just write in the chat box so that I'll move ahead, then I'll know that you have understood. For M20 grade, give me the answer, so then I'll understand that you have. The value of modular ratio for M20 grade. Yes, sure, don't worry. Just give me the value of modular ratio, Shoaib. What is the value of modular ratio for M20 grade? The formula is right in front of you. 13.33, correct. So I hope you understood what I was trying to say. So the modular ratio is, so if you substitute this 280, the formula is given 3 into what is sigma CBC for M20 grade, we have already seen it is 7. So just substitute this value, so you will get 13.33. So similarly for M25 you can find out, it comes out to be 10.98 and M30 it is 9.33. So I hope this is clear. So we have completed the permissible stresses in concrete, in steel, and the modular ratio is also done. So now we have to quickly draw the stress strain diagram based on the assumptions. So please pay attention carefully, so we don't have much time. So I'll just finish this. So from the assumptions we know that, so from the assumptions, so please make a note of it whenever I'm writing. Equivalent stress diagram is developed. Okay, so from the assumptions which we have seen so far, we will develop an equivalent stress diagram, and this stress diagram is very important. Okay, So now let us consider a cross section of a beam of width B, okay, width B and depth D. So please draw with me simultaneously, or you can listen first and then you can do. So let us consider this width is B, okay. So now suppose it is reinforced with 3 bars like this, and this distance from the center of the bar is what distance? It is the effective depth, which is denoted by small. From the total depth is the capital D. It is called as the overall depth. Okay. So now this is AST. Okay. So now let us say this is the neutral axis, and this is the area of compression. Okay. So this is the compression zone. Below the neutral axis, you know that it is tension zone. So now first we will draw the strain diagram. So this is your strain diagram. This is strain due to compression, and this is strain due to tension, right? So this is nothing but the cross section of the beam, and this is the strain diagram. Next we will draw the stress diagram. So the stress diagram will look something like this. So we know that this is the compressive stress. It goes on reducing till we come to the neutral axis, right? So it will reduce, and at the neutral axis it will be 0. And this is nothing but sigma CBC stress, which we are talking about. And this is important. So this we have already assumed that if you see the second assumption, it says that all the tensile stresses are taken by steel only and none by concrete. Am I correct? So that is the reason this stress distribution looks like this. So the stress at this point will be taken by the area of steel. So can you see I have drawn the stress diagram only where the bars are located. I hope this is clear to everyone. So this is the stress diagram. Now the most important thing, we will draw the equivalent stress diagram, and that diagram will be used to derive the equations. So now with the help of this diagram, can you derive anything? No, you cannot derive any equation with the help of this diagram. So that is the reason we will draw the equivalent stress diagram. So let me show you how does the equivalent stress diagram will look. So this will look like this. Okay, so this is your sigma CBC, and this is what, can anyone tell me? This is nothing but sigma ST by M. Okay, so this we have derived in the first page. If everyone remembers, sigma ST is M into stress in concrete. So what here we are doing is, here we are transforming this stress in steel to an equivalent stress in concrete. Okay, whatever stress this steel can take, we are converting that an equal amount of concrete will take. So that relation is given by modular ratio, and this is known as equivalent stress diagram. Okay, and this is very important. And this, let us say it is at a distance of x from the neutral axis from the extreme compression fiber. So this will be d minus x. If this is x, this will be d minus x. I hope this is clear. This concept is clear to everyone. How much time do we have remaining? You can just make a note of it. If you have any doubt in this, please ask me right now. Please make a note of it, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. I think we don't have much time, so I will not proceed. So just make a note of this, and in this, if you have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, so we have 1 minute left. Okay, which page? I just told you to please make notes of whatever we are writing. Which page you want to see? What we have derived. Zaid Mansoori, I told you to please make a note of whatever we are writing. Okay. So this, we have derived the first page, that stress in steel is equal to modular ratio into stress in concrete. Okay, this FC is nothing but sigma CBC. Understood? So in the next lecture, we will derive the equations based on this, and then we will solve the problems in the next lecture. Okay, I hope this is clear to everyone.